if you need any help with the deodorant horses, I can groom them, exercise them.
Really? That'd be great. I thought you said you had a crazy schedule.
Yeah, that might change. Something really awful happened with Extreme Team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, don't ask.
Oh, I wasn't
Everything
going
in Amy's world is starting to crack, and she can't hide it anymore. This final episode pushes her to a breaking point, and what happens next might change Heartland forever. Amy Fleming has always been the heart of Heartland, but lately, even she seems to be losing her grip. Throughout this season, she has tried to be strong for everyone, her daughter, her family, the horses who depend on her, but the weight on her shoulders has grown heavier with every passing day. The ranch is alive with movement, yet Amy feels strangely alone, like she's standing in the middle of a busy world that's slowly drifting away from her. Each morning she wakes up before the sun, trying to outrun her own thoughts, but no amount of hard work can silence the feelings she keeps buried inside. This season has pulled Amy in every direction. She's had to deal with unexpected challenges at the ranch, sudden changes in her family, and new responsibilities she never asked for. But the hardest part has been trying to balance her life with the memories she still carries, memories of Ty, the man who helped her build this world in the first place. His absence is a quiet ache she feels at the end of every long day, a reminder that some wounds take years to heal, and some never fully do. His shadow follows her, not in a haunting way, but in a way that keeps her grounded, even when everything else feels unsteady. She still talks to him in her mind, still asks herself what he would say, still imagines him leaning against the barn with that calm smile. And then there's Nathan. He didn't mean to complicate things, but he did. Not because he tried too hard, but because he understands Amy in a way she didn't expect. He's kind, steady, and patient, qualities that remind her of something she used to know. And that scares her. She never planned to let someone new into her life. She never planned to trust again. But Nathan's presence has slowly become impossible to ignore. Every time he steps into the barn or offers help, Amy feels the same mix of relief and guilt twisting inside her. It's as if letting someone close is a betrayal of the past, but pushing him away is a betrayal of herself. Now, as the final episode begins, Amy stands in the heart of the ranch, surrounded by the familiar land she's known her whole life. But everything feels different. The fences seem taller. The air feels heavier. Even the horses sense something is wrong. They watch her with quiet eyes, waiting for the gentle touch they know so well. But today her hands are trembling more than usual. She's been holding herself together for so long that even the smallest crack feels like it might split her open. The season has pushed her to a point where she can no longer pretend she's fine. Not with the ranch under pressure. Not with her family worried. Not with Nathan lingering in the background. And not with Ty's memory pulling her heart in a direction she can't follow anymore. She's tired in a way that sleep can't fix. And as she takes a deep breath and steps toward another difficult day, she knows this episode won't just be another challenge. It will be a breaking point. A moment where she must decide whether to keep holding everything inside, or finally let someone help her carry the weight. The tension at Heartland doesn't explode all at once. It arrives quietly, like a storm building behind clear skies. It begins with a single horse, a young mustang brought to the ranch for training, restless in a way Amy has not seen in a long time. The horse isn't hurt, but something in its eyes is off, as if it senses danger long before anyone else can. Every time Amy walks near the pen, the horse steps back, ears pinned, breath sharp, muscles tight. It's not fear of her. It's fear of something bigger. Amy knows horses better than she knows most people. So when this one refuses to settle, she feels it in her chest. Something is wrong. Not with the horse, but with the entire energy around the ranch. The wind feels colder. The fences creak louder. Even the dust seems to move differently under her boots. It's the kind of shift that only someone who has lived her whole life on this land can feel. And Amy feels it down to her bones. She tries to shake it off, tries to start the day like any other, but everything is just slightly out of rhythm. Jack works in silence longer than usual. Lou cancels her plans, saying she just wants to stay close today. Even Lindy stays unusually quiet, watching her mother with nervous eyes, as if she can sense the pressure Amy is trying so hard to hide. The whole ranch is breathing differently, heavier, slower, almost waiting for something to break. Amy throws herself into work to keep her mind busy. She moves hay, checks fences, cleans stalls, forces herself to keep moving. But the harder she pushes, the more mistakes she makes. She drops tools she normally handles easily. She forgets simple tasks. She snaps at Jack when he gently asks if she needs help. And the look he gives her, worried, patient, too kind, only makes her chest tighten more. She hates being treated like she's fragile. She hates feeling like she can't handle everything. But worst of all, she hates knowing they're right. She's stretched too thin. Later that afternoon, the Mustang grows even more unsettled. It circles the pen faster than before, years back, hooves staring into the dirt. The horse's fear starts to bleed into Amy, stirring something deep inside her that she doesn't want to face. She reaches out, trying to calm the animal, but her voice shakes. The Mustang only gets louder, kicking the fence, sending a sharp crack of sound echoing across the ranch. It's the kind of noise that could spook every horse on the property when Nathan arrives unexpected. But not surprising, it only adds to the growing pressure. He spots Amy from across the yard, her shoulders stiff, her jaw tight, the Mustang pressing harder against the fence. He starts walking toward her with steady steps, but Amy feels her pulse spike. She doesn't want him to see her like this. She doesn't want anyone to see her like this. Yet the ranch is closing in on her. Every sound too loud, every problem too heavy. By the time Nathan reaches her, Amy's hands are clenched, eyes locked on the frightened horse, breath uneven. The Mustang isn't the only one trying to hold it together. The truth is, Amy doesn't need anyone to tell her something is wrong at Heartland. She feels it in every heartbeat, every breath, every shaky moment she tries to pretend she's fine. Amy has always been good at hiding her feelings. But today the mask slips more than she wants to admit. As the Mustang keeps pacing the pen, something inside her stirs a familiar ache. She hasn't allowed herself to feel this deeply in a long time. It begins with a small flash in her mind, a memory she didn't ask for. Ty! Not a ghost, not a vision, just the soft echo of a moment they once shared. Him calming a frightened horse with steady hands and a gentle voice. Him looking at her the way only he could, as if he could see the fear she tried to bury. That quiet strength he carried everywhere. For a heartbeat, Amy forgets the present. She slips into that memory, into the comfort of a time when she wasn't carrying everything alone. But the memory doesn't warm her, it breaks her. Because Ty isn't here, and she's tired of pretending she doesn't feel that loss every single day. It's the kind of pain that lives under the surface, showing itself only when she's pushed too far. Today is one of those days. The ranch feels heavy, the air feels tight, and Ty's absence feels louder than ever. Amy shuts her eyes for a second, trying to breathe, trying to stay grounded, but the voice in her memory feels too real. It's as if Ty is standing behind her, whispering the same words he used to say when things got hard. You don't have to do it all alone. The words slice right through her because she knows she's been ignoring them for years. Then another voice pulls her back to reality. Nathan's. Quiet, patient, careful. Amy, he says from behind the fence, step back for a moment. His tone isn't harsh, but it's firm enough to catch her attention. She turns and finds him watching her with eyes that see more than she wants them to. The concern in his face is clear. It's not pity, and that somehow makes it worse. He's not treating her like she's broken. He's treating her like someone who deserves help. And that is something Amy doesn't know how to accept anymore. Nathan takes a slow step toward her, stopping just close enough to speak softly. You're worn out. Anyone can see it. Amy stiffens. She hates being read so easily. I'm fine, she says, too fast, too forced. But Nathan doesn't push. He simply stands there, giving her space, letting her breathe, letting her choose whether to let him in. And that patience so familiar, yet so different from Ty's cuts through her defenses. Ty used to bring comfort without asking for anything in return. Nathan brings steadiness without demanding a place in her life. Both men, in their own ways, offer the same thing: support, trust, safety. But one belongs to her past, and the other keeps standing in her present. The Mustang lets out a sharp cry, breaking the moment. Amy flinches. She knows she should focus on the horse, but her mind feels split in two. One part reaching back toward Ty, the other being pulled towards someone new who she isn't sure she's ready for. Nathan steps beside her, careful not to touch her, but close enough that she feels the warmth of another human being for the first time in what feels like ages. "You don't always have to be strong," he whispers. "Not with me." Amy looks away, blinking hard. She doesn't want to hear that. She doesn't want to feel that. Because the more he says things like that, the more she realizes how alone she's let herself become, and how much she misses being understood, with the weight of the ranch pressing on her. The sky over Heartland shifts into a deeper shade of gray, as if the world itself is bracing for what comes next. Amy steps into the pen again, slow and careful, but everything about her posture shows the weight she's carrying. The Mustang paces in the far corner, nostrils flaring, muscles coiled tight like a spring ready to snap. It isn't just spooked, it's reacting to the storm inside her. Horses always feel what their handlers feel, and Amy's emotions have slipped beyond her control. She reaches out her hand, her fingers shaking just enough for her to notice. "Easy, it's okay," she whispers, but her voice cracks. That crack is all the Mustang needs. It jerks its head, throws its weight sideways, and slams its hooves into the fence. The sound echoes across the ranch like a warning shot. Amy gasps and stumbles back a step, but she refuses to turn away. She always faces the fear head-on. It's who she is. But today, her strength is stretched thinner than she wants to admit. Her eyes lock with the Mustang's. It's wild, frightened, confused. In that reflection, Amy sees herself too clearly. She sees the exhaustion she's been ignoring. She sees the pressure she's been burying. She sees the grief she's never quite healed. And just for a moment, she breaks. All the strength she forced into her voice disappears. All the calm she tried to project falls apart. She whispers again, but this time it isn't for the horse, it's for herself. "I can't. Not today." The Mustang kicks again, and the fence rattles violently. Dirt sprays into the air. Amy's breath falters. Her knees weaken. The sound of the horse's panic mixes with the pounding of her heart. Her chest tightens so sharply it steals the air right out of her lungs. She grabs the top rail of the fence, knuckles whitening as she tries to steady herself. But no matter how tight she holds on, everything in her world feels like it's slipping. Suddenly Nathan's voice cuts through the chaos. "Amy." He rushes toward her, sliding into the pen before she can tell him not to. He grabs the rope that trails from the Mustang's halter and uses his whole weight to ground the horse. His movements are strong but controlled, the kind that say he's been watching, waiting, ready to step in the moment she truly needed someone. Amy turns toward him, tears forming faster than she can blink them away. Not because she's scared of the horse, but because she's scared of what she's becoming, scared of falling apart in front of someone who actually cares. Nathan steadies the Mustang with a firm grip, then looks at her with a softness she isn't ready for. "Amy, breathe. I've got this." But the words cut deeper than he knows. Because for the first time in a long while, she realizes she wants someone to have her back. She wants to stop pretending. She wants to stop being the strong one every second of every day. She shakes her head weakly, wiping at her face. "I'm trying." Her voice breaks again. "I'm trying to hold it together." But the rest of the sentence collapses, just like she does. Her shoulders sink. Her body leans against the fence as if she can't carry herself anymore. The truth she's hidden for months spills out in her trembling breath. "I don't know how much more I can do." Nathan doesn't move closer, doesn't force comfort on her. He simply watches, understanding written across his face. He lets her feel everything she's been fighting so hard to ignore. And as the Mustang finally settles under his steady hold, the ranch falls silent, almost as if it's waiting for Amy's next breath. The ranch grows quiet after the chaos, almost too quiet, as if the land itself is giving Amy space to breathe. The Mustang has finally settled, lowering its head, its body no longer tight with fear. Nathan steps back slowly, letting the tension fade from the air. But inside Amy, the storm still lingers. She stands at the fence, her breathing uneven, her heartbeat pounding in her ears. She feels drained, not just from the intense moment with the horse, but from the months, maybe even years of holding herself together without a single break. For the first time in a long while, Amy doesn't move. She doesn't rush to fix something. She doesn't run to the next task. She doesn't hide behind her work. She stays still, letting the truth settle in the open. She is exhausted. Not the kind of exhaustion a night's sleep can fix, but the kind that comes from carrying too much weight for too many days. It's the exhaustion of being a mother, a trainer, a daughter, a sister, and the keeper of a legacy she never asked to carry alone. She realizes this moment isn't just a breakdown, it's a warning. It's her body and her heart telling her that she can't keep living like this, running on empty, pretending she doesn't need help. Ty once balanced her. He steadied her storms without her needing to say a word. But he isn't here now. And Amy has spent so much time trying to be strong for everyone else that she forgot something important. She's human too. She needs support. She needs rest. She needs connection. And maybe she needs to let someone new care about her without feeling like she's betraying the past. Nathan remains nearby but doesn't speak. He just watches Amy with quiet understanding, giving her the choice to open up or stay silent. That alone makes her chest tighten. Because even though she doesn't want to admit it, she feels safer with him there. Not because he's replacing Ty, not even close, but because he offers something she hasn't allowed herself to accept in years: comfort without expectations, support without pressure, presence without judgment. As the light fades, Amy looks around the ranch with new eyes. Every fence post, every barn door, every patch of dirt carries memories, some beautiful, some painful. This place has been her home, her work, her dream, and her burden. And she suddenly realizes how long she's been trying to keep all of it together on her own. For a moment, she wonders what it would feel like to share that weight, to let someone in, to stop pretending she can handle everything alone. But along with that thought comes fear. Fear of change, fear of letting go, fear of trusting again, even a little. Her heart is still tied to Ty, and she isn't sure she's ready to loosen that bond, even if it's only by a single thread. But today proved something she can't ignore. She can't keep walking this road by herself. Something has to shift, even if it's small. As the evening breeze brushes through her hair, Amy closes her eyes and lets the quiet of Heartland wrap around her. For the first time, she isn't trying to push her emotions away. She's letting them exist. She's letting herself feel vulnerable. She's letting herself be honest. And though she hasn't taken a step forward yet, admitting her breaking point is its own kind of movement. The day at Heartland ends with a strange kind of stillness, the kind that feels both peaceful and uneasy. The sky is turning a deep gold, stretching long shadows across the yard. Amy stands outside the pen, her hands resting on the fence, her eyes distant. The mustang is calm now, grazing quietly as if the storm earlier never existed. But inside Amy, things are still shifting, still trembling. The moment from earlier sits heavy on her mind. It wasn't just fear. It wasn't just stress. It was truth she can't ignore anymore. Nathan lingers a few steps away, giving her room, but not leaving. He seems to understand the silence wrapping around her. He doesn't ask if she's okay. He doesn't push her to talk. He just stays close enough so she won't feel alone, but far enough so she can breathe. That small balance feels like something Amy didn't realize she needed. Someone who isn't trying to fix her, just trying to be there. Still, his presence brings a new question she isn't ready to answer. Is this the beginning of something, or a line she shouldn't cross? Amy watches the mustang lift its head, ears perked toward the horizon. The horse senses something new, something she hasn't noticed yet. A truck pulls into the yard, its headlights sweeping across the ground. Lou steps out, worry written across her face. She walks toward Amy carefully, as if approaching someone standing on unstable ground. "Jack's been looking for you," she says softly. "He's worried. We all are." Her voice is gentle, but the truth behind it stings. Amy has been shutting everyone out, pretending she can carry everything. Today proved she can't, not without breaking. Amy nods without speaking. Words feel too heavy, too fragile. She feels the pressure of everyone's concern like hands pressing against her back. Jack, Lou, Lindy, Nathan, even the horses. They've all been watching her drown in silence while she tried to pretend she was floating. And now, she's left standing in the fading light, unsure whether she should step forward or stay frozen where she is, Lou places a hand on Amy's shoulder, but Amy barely reacts. Her gaze drifts back to the Mustang, the horse that mirrored her emotions so sharply earlier. It's calm now, breathing slow and steady, almost like it's waiting for her to match its pace. But Amy doesn't feel peaceful. She feels torn, between past and future, between holding on and letting go, between Ty's memory and the possibility of something new. Nathan steps closer, stopping beside Lou. "Amy," he says softly, "you don't have to decide anything today, but you do need to stop carrying everything alone." The way he says it, careful, steady, makes her chest tighten. She can't look at him. Not yet. Not when the truth in his voice scares her more than the Mustang's panic ever could. The ranch lights flicker on as the sun disappears, casting a warm glow over the yard. It should feel comforting, but instead it feels like a spotlight on the moment she's been avoiding. Amy grips the fence tighter. The wood digs into her palms. She lets the truth settle deep inside her. Something has to change. She can't keep breaking like this.